Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Bit Reviews, and this is my second attempt at this because I basically recorded an entire episode without realizing my mic was off. That's amazing. Alright, anyways, today we are going to be talking about the game Stray. So if you don't know what the game Stray is, it's basically a game where you play as a cat and you explore a city. We'll get more into that, of course. But yeah, also, if you guys have any recommendations for these videos, please let me know, because the last few videos have been flopping, and it is kind of discouraging getting, like, no views on my videos. But for the people who do view, please let me know. And yeah, let's continue on with the story of Stray. Okay, so first, before we begin, there's going to be spoilers. I'm going to try not to go too spoilery on the big things, but I will give context and a little bit of detail throughout the game that you will learn. But I'll try to avoid major plot points, but I might accidentally spill something or two because I don't write actual script. I just kind of have notes and I follow up my notes, and then I kind of just blabber on. So anyways, let's begin. You begin in a sewer pipe, I think that's what it's called. I don't remember what, I don't think that's correct. Anyways, you begin in a sewer pipe with your family. You are a cat. That's a big part in this game. You are just a cat. A very smart cat. A lot of people don't like how smart the cat is. I think it wouldn't make less sense for the game if he was just an ordinary cat. Also, this is way in the future, so the cat could definitely be smarter than a normal cat, so I don't know why people are so fed up with it. But, it doesn't matter. Anyways, so after traveling a little bit with your buddies, you end up going on a bad pipe that collapses, and you fall down this giant chasm. The chasm ends up with you in a sewer line, and you pass out from your injuries, only to wake up later. The door opens, a random door opens that you kind of just run through, and behind that door is a great beast. Not a beast, but it's like a bunch of tiny things called the Zurks, and Zurks are basically just a bacteria that eat everything, including you. So you gotta run. So you begin the game running through these Zurks, trying to get to safety, and eventually you do. But yeah, we learn a little bit more about the Zurks throughout the game. These Zurks are basically a bacteria that were to help solve the garbage crisis in the city, and they did too good of a job that they started eating things that they weren't supposed to eat, like metal. So that's a big plot point in this game. So yeah, you eventually get to safety, and from there you go and you just explore the city a little bit. There's no robots, no humans. There's like nothing around yet. You don't really find civilization until you meet a robot named B12. B12 will be a companion throughout the rest of the game, and here his goal is to basically regain his memories that he has lost. So traveling with B12, you help him and he helps you. His big thing too is like he helps you translate with the robots, because you're a cat, you don't speak language, but for some reason B12 can translate to you because plot. And then you eventually after traveling a little bit more, you eventually find your way downtown, where you meet your first robots that you acquaintance with. They think you're a monster, but then they're like, oh no, you're just a cat, you're cool. Sorry for the alarm, which is all good. Which it makes sense, and you eventually learn more about what happens downtown. It's basically the poor area where they throw all the trash, and it's where the Zurks basically have trapped them in this part of the town. So they can't go to upstate or the upper class area, and they're basically just trapped there. No one has managed to escape, but one person has gone missing. So you do eventually have to go find that person, and you get your first and only weapon of the game, and it basically helps you defeat the Zurks a little bit to help you go through and get to the next level of the game, which you have to travel through the sewers. You do go with one robot, but you do eventually go to an area where he can no longer continue going with you, so he leaves you and heads back. So you basically are now traveling through the sewers, and you make it to the next area with B12, and yeah, B12 basically has this weapon now attached to him, and it just kills Zurks. That's the main plot. It's like a UV light. That's all it really is. But yeah, he does overheat after using it for a little bit. But I'll talk about a little bit more in gameplay. So you go up to the upper class area. You meet up with these freedom fighters. I don't even know. I don't remember exactly every single little plot in this game because there's a lot of mini stories within the big story. The big story just being you're a cat who got separated from his family and you need to get back up to the surface and see them again. And with B12, you're basically helping him regain his memories that he's slowly lost. So yeah, you go to the next part and then the next part. There's like 4 different areas that you travel through. And eventually you do end up with the rich people or like the most upper class area, which is the highest point in the city. So it is like layered with that. So like the city goes from up to down. Like I don't know if cities are actually like that in real life, but I think there are some like China. Not sure about that. So you're in the big part of the city, and now you're basically fighting off the robots because you are trying to escape, and they don't really like letting people escape. And there's one puzzle that you have to complete, but you need a certain item for, and they stole it. So there's that. Again, I don't really remember the exact plot. It's been like a month or 2 since I last played the game. No, it's been like 2 months since I played the game, so I'm sorry if I don't remember every little detail. I try to do that, but I'm not perfect at it. Not that I really think it matters, because I think you should be able to play the game without me telling you every little detail of the game. So yeah, you then get arrested because you stole the thing, and they separate you and B12. You are literally just put in a cell, and you're hung like over this little sewer line. It's just like a little cat cage, but they hung you. It's like they think you're superhuman. It's so funny. I don't know why, but you're cool, a cat, so you escape because screw them. And you eventually make your way back to B12, and you escape as well. So after that, you put the battery in, and you take the subway to the final area. The last area was hidden behind a subway that nobody can get to work, so nobody's been to the last area in a while. You find yourself in the last room, which is completely abandoned, except for a few cleaning robots left that don't really seem to have any idea what's going on downstairs. All the humans are like officially wiped out. Like you've learned that officially. The humans are just gone. We don't really get much history of the humans because the robots don't really keep that on them. They do, and like they don't even believe that there's like an upstairs, like from where the cat's from. Like nobody like believes them. It's like, no, it doesn't actually exist. It's only down here. Propaganda stuff. So there's that. And then the cat, you and B12 have to do one last thing before you're able to open up the huge hatch, exposing the entire city back to the surface. Why the city was created and why everyone was down there in the first place, I don't really think is explained unless I missed that part. Because I don't really think it was part of the main story to really know that, but they might give like a few hints for why, like something happened on the surface, obviously caused them to go underground, but they don't really explain what happened, whether it be a disease or like some kind of invasion. Because as the cat, you start off on the surface, and the surface looks fine. Like there's really no big difference. Even after you escape, the surface looks fine. There's trees. It's just overgrown now. It looks like nature. So yeah, so you and B12. One last event happens, and spoiler, B12 has to sacrifice himself. There's a big thing with B12 that I'm not going to reveal, but I think you should go play the game or watch someone play the game if you want to find out. I think it's cool how they did that, but it's a big part of the game and B12. So if you want like more of his story, I would definitely go watch someone play the game if you don't have the game or able to play the game yourself. So yeah, so then the game officially ends with you, the cat, running out, looking back one last time and leaving. Now, a lot of people kind of complained about this ending, and I'm not really sure why, because I don't see how, like, oh my god, the biggest complaint I saw was like, oh, you don't get reunited with your family afterwards, which, yeah, it's true, but like, I don't expect them to be right outside the door. Like, they don't know where you are. They think you're dead, most likely. So, like, why would they be at the door waiting for you? Like, that part makes no sense to me. I mean, they could have made a little bit more cut to, like, oh, he found them. But, like, we don't know if that happens. They kind of leave it open-ended there, which I think is fine. Because the story is of the underground city. It's not really of the surface. We don't really care about the surface. And I think people do complain about B12 but I could be completely wrong. It's been a while since I really read up on the story. But yeah, I think it's a really cool story. I think it is worth a playthrough of the story. And I think we can jump into the gameplay now, which will put a little more detail into things. Alright, so the gameplay of Stray. I think the gameplay is really fun. You are mostly wandering around and you become the essence of a cat, which I think they have done a great job doing. So you can literally just go around, you can knock over mostly anything, you can meow on command whenever you want. There's even like achievements for doing it. You can interact with mostly everything in your environment, which is pretty cool. So like even the people, like you can even go up to people and just like, you know, have like cats like rub up against the legs and stuff. You can do that. You could just go up and do that. Like they did an amazing job, I think, like embodying the essence of a cat in this game, and I think it's awesome. Most of the game you're just gonna be wandering around solving puzzles, which is basically you opening a path for yourself, or you're trying to hide or run from the Zerks or other things. The game overall isn't hard. There is only one difficulty of hard. There is only one difficulty as far as I'm aware, because there's no combat or anything, so there's no reason for other difficulties. The closest thing to combat that you get is when you do eventually get a weapon, which is just attached to B12 and is a UV light that just kills Zerks. That's the only thing it can do. It can't really kill other things. You don't really kill anything else, but everything's trying to kill you, basically, in this game. So you're just trying to run away, survive, solve these puzzles. And they're pretty basic puzzles. None of them are too challenging or left me like confused. And they do give you hints throughout the game too to help you solve it, so you're not really stuck forever. Yeah, that's basically the entire gameplay. Solving puzzles, annoying robots, becoming friends with them. And you do make good friends with it. But I should have mentioned this in the story section. But you do they do give like a good job with these robots, giving them very human-like attributes. Even though all the humans are gone, they do kind of try to fulfill the role of being a human, and a lot of them do wish to be more human. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's basically the gameplay. You're a cat. You are literally the essence of a cat. You are running around a city doing whatever you want. There are tasks that you gotta do. There are side quests you gotta do, and you do gotta find the memories for B12. But they are fun to do. Like, I don't know. They're just like, they're not hard. I do think some of the B12 memories, I feel like I explored like a ton of the city and I somehow still miss some. So I'm not sure where they would be, or if I literally just missed an entire area and didn't realize it. But yeah, that's the gameplay. Okay, so final score. I really love this game. I think they did a great job. They really wanted you to be a cat and just explore the city. I think they did a great job with the lore of the city, even though I kind of wish they gave a little bit more, and I do think they hint at a sequel at the end. I don't know if we're actually gonna get one, because I don't think they officially announced it or are going to officially announce it, sadly. But I do think there is room for a sequel, or just like a little mini game afterwards, just to give a little bit more lore to the city, and figure out why everyone was down there and like everything, and just give more, maybe even like give more of a story of just some of the robots down there, because you do meet a lot of the robots, you do become friends with them, and they do have all stories of their own, which would be cool to play as a little bit. Yeah, so after you beat the game too, like you can go back to pretty easily, which is nice. I keep mentioning things now when I shouldn't. All right, anyways, final score. I'm gonna give this game a 7 out of 8. It isn't perfect, but it is really fun to play, and I think it's like, if you just want an easy, relaxing game, solve a few puzzles that aren't too difficult, and just annoy people and annoy robots and things as a cat, I think this is definitely the game for you. So I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.